Alright, so here's what the chair seat looks like now. You can see this is where we glued it back together. There's a seam there, you can tell, because, well, one, you can see the line back here. There's a little dirt in there. And then also the wood grain is different between the two. Same thing over here, right? Two pieces of wood that were glued together. So, yeah, anyway. A couple tips for you when you're sanding. Remember that when you sand, right, if you're using, especially when you're using an orbital sander, the opposite side might be shaking, right? So if you have, even if you have just like some wood, you know, like this sanding material, you might get gouges in the back of your wood. So you always kind of want to make sure that, one, you have a tight grip on the wood that you're sanding, and that two, your sander isn't going too crazy on you. Otherwise you'll get stuff on the back, and then you'll have to sand the back again. Another tip about sanding, sometimes you see these scratches in here. This is pretty much wear and tear from people sitting on this chair. When we get to the part where we refinish this, whether it's we put another stain on it or if we just put like some kind of sealer on it, those kinds of scratches tend to show up. So you kind of got to decide where's your happy point. You know, for this piece of wood, and there's some pretty deep gouges in it. And, you know, this is an old chair, so is it okay to have some scratches and stuff in it? I think so. It just kind of depends on what you're going for. Now remember, when you're sanding, right, let's say you want to sand these scratches out, so you just really go at it with your sander edge on the edge of that. You're sanding wood out, right? So you might end up with this weird line in here if you sand too deep. And that will look equally weird because that grain really will change. The texture of it will change, and then you'll be sad that you did that. So just use caution. If you're going to sand something out, get a good sand all the way across, and then remember that that's the wood that you're removing from the chair. So at any rate, I'm going to move on to the rest of the chair, getting that all spruced up again. I think one thing that you want to check, well, actually, I'm going to stop this video and move that on to the next one. But now you know, now you got your tips on sanding.